The Severe MMA Podcast Premium with Sean Sheehan and Graham MacDonald. Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Severe MMA Podcast, joined today by SBG welterweight Richard Kiely before his big fight with Michael Boucher. I'm sure he's a different name for him, coming up here on the 23rd of February. Richard, how are you?
Mickey Butcher. Well, I'm very dubious of that name, Michael Boucher, trying to make himself sound exotic. It's Mickey Butcher.
Mickey Butcher.
Mickey Butcher. And you also haven't announced me as the new face of Bellator.
The new face of Bellator. How was that transition
going? That was by design. You did that on purpose.
I did. I was just teeing it up.
Do you want to restart that introduction?
I'll edit it afterwards. I'll put it back in. But how did that transition go? How did it change from like the face of Bama from the face of Bellator? How's that going for you?
It's going well. Listen, you'll see on February 23rd. Looking, that's when the new face of Bellator is really going to arrive. Like, that's when I'm really going to make an announcement. Like, I'm really going to announce myself at the scene. Like, I keep saying that the welterweight division doesn't know what's going to hit it. It was the same with the Bama welterweight division. They hadn't got a clue what hit it, and it's just going to be the exact same thing on a bigger scale now.
Mm-hmm. Watching Michael, I suppose we get into that the first thing anyway. This morning, Mickey, yeah, it's hard to actually watch too much of him. There's not really that much to go on. Yeah. But then, kind of looking at his record, all of his 3 wins are by submission. Obviously, your only career losses by submission. You're known as a kickboxer as well. Like, do you look at him and see he's a bit dangerous, or have you looked at much of him?
No. And again, this always comes up that people saying I'm known as a kickboxer and what have you. Listen, I might have been out for the best part of a year where I couldn't do it, and all I was focusing on was my ground game, jiu-jitsu and grappling. Okay, so I have absolutely no concerns. I was over in Iceland. I've been training with some world class. I was training with people in the UFC, people that are Bellator, like Nicholas Daley, who was fighting Alex Lahore for the Cage Warriors world title, and he obviously also drew with Darren Till. And my grappling wasn't now a place with them. Obviously, Gunnar's on a different level, but I've no concerns over the grappling. And then people saying that my only career loss is by submission. Looking, that knee bar wasn't even on. It was an injury that defeated me. It wasn't the Alex Lahore's jiu-jitsu. That was going in with a debilitating knee injury. As soon as he grabbed my ankle, never mind my knee slipped out of place and I was in pain straight away. And I felt like the thing was about to come through it was going to come through the skin. It was nothing to do with the submission. That's a very straightforward escape. But look, I actually don't give a rat's arse. Like, those questions are going to stand until such times as I prove people wrong. And so, like, for the casual observer, they can say whatever they want. The fact is that they're still talking about me. And on February 23rd, they're going to be talking about me even more because, like I say, I'm going in there to make a statement. That's not, again, fighter speak. Everyone says, I'm going to make a statement. They're going to see the best version of Richard Kiely. I'm really going to dismantle this guy. This chap is getting volleyed into the nosebleeds. The nosebleed stands his chin. So
I suppose, like, since last time we talked, I suppose it was about 6 months ago or so, and you were saying to me you're ready, and you're this retirement had ended, and you were back from all the injuries and everything like that. Like, has that been a bit frustrating? It's kind of taken so long to actually get back in here, or is it good to kind of get time to come back?
No, it doesn't, because what it did is it gave me a good solid training camp. Allowed me to shake off any rustiness, shake off any concerns I had about the injuries. Now, like I said, I have bloody juggernauts coming at me trying to double leg me and single leg me, or going for singles. So what it did was it provided me a bulletproof confidence in the stability of my knee and what have you, because there's no quarter after given on the mats where we train. You can't go in and say a bit tired now, because each guy here is coming up to a fight, and that fight is in that fighter's head. That fight is the most important of his career. Yeah. So it's just the way it is. Like, so it was, my knee has been tested under fire and under pressure, and it's holding up fine. So that 6 months gave me the ability to build up my confidence, work on my grappling, and just come back now. I'm bulletproof. It's version 2.0, and I'm gonna, like I said, the welterweight division is not gonna know I hit it now once I land, both in the cage and outside of the cage, because I'm already calling people out. I'm already getting after getting blocked by Lawrence.
We'll get to them. Don't worry about it. One thing, you mentioned Iceland there, and I suppose like from Carl Binder to Conor McGregor to all the lads that used to go to Iceland for camps before their big fights, they used to always rave about it. Like for you, how long were you actually there, and how good did you think about it afterwards?
Yeah, I was there for 1 week, maybe just over a week. I had to come back because my young lad's birthday, and obviously that takes precedence over anything. So I came back for his birthday, but I was over there for just over a week, and it was it was intense. It was proper Rocky IV stuff, like sleeping on mats in a room with like 15 lads, and like all we were doing was training, eating right, recovering, back out training. So the level of training, the food, just the mentality of being in with that level of guys, and picking up, watching how they do things, and seeing what works, what you can take from them, the right things they're doing that you can take for them, and what you don't think is working. So it was hugely beneficial. And as like I said, the rounds, the training itself was pay-per-view, because like I said, we had UFC fighters, we had Bellator fighters, we had like I said, we Cage Warrior champions, all on the mat. So there was no easy rounds. So each one you were being tested to the maximum. So, and if there was any holes in your game, they were getting exploited. So it's a surefire way to address any perceived weaknesses or challenges you have. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, man. It really was. Now, towards the end, I was delighted coming home, because it's just that level of intensity. You're just there like, Jesus Christ.
It must be hard enough to, like, when there's, what is there, like 14 SPG guys or something coming up fighting on this Bellator card. Like, is it hard to actually get like time with the coaches? Because as you said there, everyone, it's the end of their world. It's the next fight coming up for fighters, and when there's like 14 ends of the world coming up for 14 different guys, that must be tough enough too to just a lot of people on edge, a lot of people looking for coaching time and different things.
Yeah, 100%. Look, come here. I'm assuming, I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm assuming that I'm not someone that will stand by the back of the queue and when it comes to attention. So I'll be sure that anything that I need addressed, I'll be making sure that it gets addressed with and look, to be fair, John Kavanagh is super accommodating with his time. He puts in the craft, and like anything you ask him anything. And plus, if I ask a question, the answer is learnable for everyone else that's in the group. It's not just me. Everyone else can learn from the question, and vice versa. If someone else asks a question, I'll make sure that I'm tuning into what the answer is. Because that's it's just more learning. So, but everyone gets, if they have something that they want to work on, everything gets that time, And then I have Dave Roach as well, who I can't speak highly enough about this guy. He is such a high level of MMA. I'm fairly sure that guy I won't divulge his age, but I'm fairly sure that he's still at a caliber that you could fight in the UFC, and not only that. His ability to identify the strengths, weaknesses of an opponent, and assess your opportunities, and and the threats that they pose is second to none. So between him and John Kavanagh, we have such a strong corner.
Yeah, 100%. And like we talk a lot of the time about people maybe focusing on one part of their game and maybe forgetting on what brought them to the dance and stuff. But you've been training with Fabian Edwards. I saw Pete was out there, and you did a kickboxing tournament as well. Tell us about them and how they kept your kickboxing going well as well.
What did Pete say?
Well, he did an article, didn't he, with Fabian Edwards? Or he said, oh no, Fabian Edwards was out in the gym with you, and he's sparring. He actually, I'll tell you what he said now. He said, geez, you'd be surprised with how well Richard Kiely did. That's what he said to me.
Why would you be surprised?
Take that up with Pete.
Yeah. What?
Take that up with Pete, not me.
Look, come here. Like I said, I'll say my strike, and I'm confident that I'm one of the best, if not the best, striker in Bellator. Mm-hmm. So definitely in the welterweight division. So I was absolutely showing Fabian Edwards I was showing him some stuff, and he was showing me some stuff. So like I don't agree with this. You'd be surprised at how well Richard Kiely did. It's like, I don't know. I seem to constantly surprise people, because people seem to have to be fixing their opinion that I'm just a kickboxer. Yeah. But that's not the case at all. I'm, like I said, I've been the last, since I've been out with my knee, all I've been able to do is focus on grappling. That's and to touch on the question, that did I forget what brought me to the dance? Absolutely not. So that's why I went into the kickboxing tournament to assess where my time was with specialist kickboxers, specialist world class kickboxers, and I won. That's the short version. I'm still brilliant.
Did you have to get permission from Bellator or anything for that, or did you just turn up and do it?
I don't know. I didn't get permission off anyone. I just turned up and do it. I just turned up and did it. Sure, I was happy enough to apologise after it if it was against the rules. But look, I came out unscathed. I like I said, I did really well. I was focusing on specific stuff that I wanted to focus on, so I wasn't even I wasn't looking to hurt anyone. I wasn't looking to I wasn't even looking to win. I was looking to get in there, and I was looking to work on specific stuff in terms of time and distance, speed, see who I am against the likes of point fighters and against like I said, specialist kickboxers. And I went out and won it, and I won it comfortably. I beat a former Irish champion in the final, and I won it comfortably. So that's and that's like I said, haven't been out and not haven't done any specific kickboxing thing. So imagine what would have been done if I had been focusing on kickboxing.
I know Bellator are doing kickboxing fights now as well, but do you have any interest in taking on a kickboxing only fight for them?
Not particularly good. I didn't. Not that I didn't particularly. Not that I didn't enjoy it. It was grand. But I've done what I wanted to do in kickboxing. Now, don't get me wrong. If Bellator came along with a Raymond Daniels fight and a paycheck to go to, I'd absolutely take that, because I was supposed to fight Daniels before and it didn't come to fruition. But yeah, no, 100%. That'd be something. It'd need to be something special to bring me back into kickboxing. So and that's what I'm after. I'm after I'm looking for something that excites me now. And MMA is exciting me at the moment, and I think there's a trajectory there for me to it's a clear trajectory there for me to follow. So that's what I'm doing.
I suppose, we always talk here, and you always, you bring up the big names and everything like that, calling lads out. And, we always have that kind of row where I think maybe matchmaking would be better someone around your same level of record anyway, or maybe not the ability level. So, but Michael is kind of, he'd be one I'd pick now rather than one you'd pick. So how do you feel about that matchup when you're getting a guy who's maybe, not one of these big names that you want?
Look, it's my first fight back. Look, come here. It's to be expected. Look, this is actually mutually beneficial. I'll get to make a statement against, and I'm not being complacent or underestimating them. I just know my ability, and if this is the first one they want back, by all means. They're going to know very, very quickly after that I shouldn't be matched against people that they're going to be see very, very quickly is the level I should be matched at. Look, I'm happy enough with I don't really care about the matchup, to be honest. This isn't about him. This is about me coming back. Like I said, it's about the arrival of the face of Bellator, and that's, I know you might be laughing out the side of your mouth there, as I say, but this
never.
But people did the exact same thing after 3 fights, and I know it was on a smaller scale with Bama, but Bama was a big European promotion, and when 3 fights, I scaled the heights there, whether people liked it or disliked it. So, don't doubt me that I won't do it in this one. Don't doubt me that I won't do it in this one. Because I bring something completely different that people haven't seen, in terms of skill set. So, just watch it. And like I said, you're going to be the first. I'm going to be coming back on this podcast, and I'm going to make you say, Richard Kiely, I'm very, very sorry. You are the face of Bellator.
I'll do it, no matter. I usually do it anyway, but sure, fair enough. All right, let's move on to some of the fun stuff. Terry Brazier last week, one of your arch nemesis.
Who?
Terrence, is it? Is that what you want
There
to
you
say?
go.
Yeah.
That's call him by his proper title.
Yeah. But,
the hide and seek champion.
Go on. Tell us what you thought of that fight and Terry himself coming up here.
Look, come here. I'm actually not in the business of kicking fighters when they're down, right? Now, what I will say is that Terrence, when I fought Alex Lahore, he was quick to stick the boot in, despite the fact that I had a near career end injury, and he was quick to stick the boot in. I'm not in that thing. What I will say is that Chris Bungard had a fantastic performance. Yeah. I was impressed with Terrence. No, I wasn't. I'm not going to kick him when he's down. The likelihood is there's too much history there for that fight not to happen. Mm-hmm. So for all his mouth and what have you, I don't think he wants that to happen. It's just a really bad matchup for him. If you see how slow he covers distance, what he does well, but everyone knows what he does. He tries to push you up against the fence, take you down, and grind it out. That's what he tries to do. Now you saw how good, like my takedown defense against Alex Lahore on one leg, he could barely get me down. He just about got me down, and that was on one leg. He's the first. There's two things that would happen if I fought him. First of all, he'd come charging forward with his chin hanging out, and then he'd wake up in about give him about a minute later. But he wouldn't be able to get me up against the fence. And then if he did get me up against the fence, he's gonna have a really torrid time there, and I'd be destroying him with elbows, shots. He's one dimensional, and I really think it'd be an easy fight for me.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've always wanted to kind of ask someone who fights the way you fight, like kind of elusive on the outside, staying long enough away from a guy from not to kind of get near you and you hit them quicker than they can hit you. Like, what are the benefits of that where, when it pertains to stopping a guy from taking you down or stopping, just being defensive about it? Like we look at guys who can fight in the pocket as well and maybe push guys back to stop them from taking them down, or just have like good hooks or
it's dependent. Look, yeah. it's like I said, look, that's a question to ask MVP. What's it like fighting from distance? Because he can't fight in the pocket. You ask Paul Daley, what's it like fighting in the pocket? Because he can't fight from distance. I can do both. Mm-hmm. I've won titles at point fighting and one point where you keep distance, and I've won it in full contact where you fight in the pocket.
But do you feel one's better for for being defensive in MMA?
I adapt for being defensive in MMA. It depends the type of fighter. You adapt it to the skill set. You adapt it to the skill set of the opponent you're facing. Mm-hmm. So, I hadn't got that option against Alex Lahore because of the knee.
Yeah.
So I hadn't got the ability to fight in the pocket because my leg hadn't got the stability, to be able to plant. So that's why it was on the whatchamacallit, I was on the toes for that one. But look, the whole objective of fighting is hit and don't be hit.
Yeah.
All right, that's the objective of fighting. So no matter what style of fighting you do, you want to inflict the maximum amount of damage and incur the minimum amount of damage. So you can see from my 3 fights that the only significant strike that I've taken is when I went out to touch gloves and Alex Lahore sucker kicked me in the knee that he knew about, in the left knee. Mm-hmm. When he knew about, that's the only significant strike I've taken in any of my fights. Even on the ground, he wasn't able to land a clean shot. So to answer your question, and I went about in a roundabout way, it's whatever works in the fight against that specific opponent. So I'm not going to say, well, fighting from distance or fighting in the pocket, because it's whatever works in that particular against that particular opponent. It's like saying, is it better? What's the best way to fight a boxer? You
take him down.
Yeah, take him down, or well, you can kick him. Yeah. You can kick him, or you can outbox him. It's dependent. On the if he leaves himself open for a particular shot, and it's a boxing shot, well then you take that shot. So it's not a one size fits all approach.
Yeah.
I'm able to flex into all styles, and that's why I'm not one dimensional. I'm not like your Venom Pages, and that's why I keep saying I'm the best striker. I'm not like Michael Venom Page or Paul Daley.
What do you think of that fight? What do you think of that fight?
I think it's going to be. I've had this discussion with many people. I think there's a couple of possibilities. I think that that either one, and the most likely is that it's not going to be a particularly exciting fight. I think that Venom Page is going to stick and move, and I don't think Daley will have the ability to cover ground. I don't think he's going to be able to cut him off. So I think it's going to be either a 3-round decision, and every now and again, Venom Page will throw in a flash technique, hoping to knock him out. But I don't think he will. But I think he'll just out-jab him. He'll just stick and move, out-jab him and try and... I don't think he's going to come in... I don't think he's going to come in and try and exchange, because that's where Daley is strong. So that's what I think it is. I think it has a possibility of being a strong anti-climax. Now, like I said, anything can happen with 2 dynamic strikers. Venom Page could get a rush of blood to the head, stand in the pocket, and Daley could catch him with a left hook. Mm-hmm. Or Daley could get complacent and frustrated because Venom Page is jabbing him, and then Venom Page could just throw one of his flashy techniques and catch him.
Yeah, like for me,
looking
at someone like a Michael Venom Page, like you think, okay, it might be very basic, but to beat him would be someone like Paul Daley who can hit him with a big left hand and knock him out, or else a wrestler who can take him down. Like, how would you, from a high level striker like yourself, how would you beat him on the feet?
So it's fairly straightforward. So from a striker perspective, like I think a wrestler will probably have the best chance, but I think a wrestler will even have difficulty with him because he's like a fly. He has erratic rhythm. You can't. It's like trying to catch a fly. You can't catch a fly because it has no rhythm. You don't know where he's going to be next. There's no system, and that's where I think Venom Page will give him the will give him the distance. But for me, if I was fighting him, I know I'm familiar with that. I'm familiar with that style, so I'd have erratic rhythm as well, whilst cutting off the cage. And then once you can cut off the cage, then you can start landing your strikes. But Paul Daley's a plotter. He won't be able to deal with that erratic rhythm because he's not used to it. So, and I think Venom Page could cause Rory MacDonald. I think Rory MacDonald is by far the favorite in this tournament, but he's shown that he's susceptible to being beaten by kickboxers from such as Stephen Thompson, with erratic footwork. He has difficulty with that, so he needs, first of all, he needs to familiarize himself with it, and second of all, it's all well and good familiarizing yourself with it, but then you need to know how to deal with it. So for me, at a very basic level, Daley needs to be able to deal with that erratic footwork, corral him into an area where and then cover distance.
A big shot. That's
what he needs to do.
I've got a couple more things here before I let you go on. Thanks very much for all your time. Let me throw a few names out to you. Lorenz Larkin, you mentioned him earlier on. You're always at poor Lorenz.
What's his name?
Lorenz Larkin. I'm not doing it again.
Lawrence. Lawrence's name is Lawrence Larkin.
How's he getting on these days anyway?
He has me blocked.
What did you do to him now?
I was giving him a bit of stick, and I was reminding him that I gave him a few hairy side of the hands. But he must have, I don't know, he must have got a voice because he replied in a big thread and he was reacting. I was like fishing in a barrel, really. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. And then someone must have told him because he deleted it all and then blocked me. So,
sure.
So
he's another guy who could maybe corral around here and say he might be looking for.
Well, look, come here, listen. Bellator have intimated that's a distinct possibility, that fight. So if that's the case, well then brilliant. I would take that fight in a heartbeat. That would be the fight where people would start. Tuning in. But you're always going to get the begrudgers that are going to say, "Oh, that no matter what I do, they're not going to like it." And I don't particularly care about them. But Lorenz Larkin, knocking him out would start to make people eat their words a little bit.
And so, what's this crack with Logan Paul? What are you doing calling out Logan Paul?
Look, come here. I wasn't actually calling out Logan Paul. What happened was someone had mentioned that. Someone had mentioned him to me in an interview, and they had said, "Listen, would you take that fight?" And I said, "Yeah, take that fight. He's a pain in the arse, like just our principle, and just to do mums and dads around the world a favor, I would absolutely knock him out." And he said, "Look, he was thinking of getting into MMA or something like that, and he's a decent striker, which he's not, and he's not a bad wrestler." So I just made the point that look, a half decent striker and a not a bad wrestler going in against me would just get destroyed, and that's But if Bellator were to offer me a lot of money to destroy him, would be by all means I would take it. So, I'd hope Logan Paul would be getting enough money as well to cover his medical expenses.
All right, last thing here. Sky Sports this weekend. Your fight's not going to be on Sky Sports, but it's going to be on the Bellator app anyway. And hopefully, if you get a big win, it'll be on Sky Sports in the future.
What if?
Okay. Close to a sold out 3 arena if all these fighters tweeting is correct. How excited are you? What's going to happen? How are you going to finish Mikhail Boucher?
Quickly.
Quickly?
That's quickly. I'm going to finish him quickly.
Tell us a shot, so go on, tell us a shot so I can come back on here and say Richard Kiely said it on the podcast.
A shot?
Yeah.
It'll be a headshot.
Headshot? Oh, head kick?
A headshot. He's open for headshots. Look, listen. Yeah, I'm going to say a head kick now. If he listens to this, if Mickey Butcher is listening to this, and
he's not a subscriber anyway. He's great.
If he's worth his salt, if he listened to the best podcast, one of the best MMA podcasts around.
Yeah, you got it right first time. Best podcast around. You got it right first time.
But look, he's reactive. I've been watching his fights. He's a big athlete. He's explosive. Like I said, I'm interested to see how he's going to make weight. But look, he's reactive, and I'm just going to set him up. I'm going to open up his head, and then once he's there, I'll select my shot. Whatever shot presents itself, I'll take it. But he's very open to a headshot. Now, look, if he does listen to this and he covers his head, well then, look, he's going to get a body shot. And look, come here, if it goes to the ground, I'd submit. I actually wouldn't mind. Once I knock him out, before the ref steps in, when he's knocked out on the ground, I'm going to slap him in the rear naked choke just for the crack. So
Richard Kiely by submission. God almighty. I'd never be able to interview again anyway if that happens. I'll have nothing to say. All right, Richard, thanks very much. Here, before you go, tell everyone where to follow you, any sponsors or anything like that. Everyone give them a shout out, now's your time.
Yeah, so whatchamacallit, you can follow me on Richard Kiely MMA on all social media platforms. And then in terms of sponsors, you should have given me a heads up. I would have a list of them here, but I'll send them on to you and you can plug them out.
I get them on. I get you on again after the fight, and you can plug them again. All right, Richard. Grand. Thanks very much.
That fight is just going to be 15 minutes of me saying I told you so.
15 minutes? Going to be that long? Or the Paul Daley fight? Is it? Which one? Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the 15 minutes after my win.
Oh, after your win. All right, fair enough. All right, I'll see you.
15-minute interview.
15-minute interview.
All right.
I'll see you next week.
Cheers, my man.
Richard, thanks very much. Thanks everyone for listening. Bye now.